This computer.
Tell the roast story.
Hello, this is What If Wednesday. I'm Mary Hildebrand, your sales director buddy from Fort Worth, Texas, Pink Cadillac sales director. It is my honor tonight to introduce one of the things that came out of my starter kit. This is a friend of a friend of a friend, and it's a friend that you found because we're in Mary Kay. There is no other logical reason. I mean, she's a great person that, hey, if we could have crossed paths, but it's because of Mary Kay that we actually got to cross paths. And so I am thrilled that tonight we're going to talk what if. This story, the more I hear about it, the more I love hearing it. So I want to share it with you all. But first, we've had some fun off screen. So we wanted to officially get it on screen. So she has been in Mary Kay lots of reasons. She's a current wife. She's a current mama. And then this little northern girl who's living in Texas happened to use a word saying, oh, she's a grandma, because I've seen these adorable baby pictures. And so let's start with what is the real name? It's not grandma. What is the real name that we get to call because of these adorable mini people?
Yes. Do I need to show pictures of these little mini?
Sure. Let's show the pictures in a minute because we're gonna make sure that our friendship is intact, and we're gonna also understand the fun that goes with this.
Yeah. So anyway, when I saw that little flyer where she was announcing me and all that stuff and put grandma on there, I'm like, you better change that flyer like right now. Like, I am not a grandma. Like, I literally told my children that if they tried to call me anything like grandmother or grandma, anything that ended with an aw on the end, like a meemaw, I would cut my kids out of the will. Like, their children would get their inheritance. They would get nothing if they ever called me anything like that. So I am gam. It was going to be glam. We played with names and words all over the place, but the little guy, the first one, couldn't ever get the gla in there. So he made it gam. Of course, he could have called me, poo-poo, and I would have gone, yes, honey, what do you want? How much money would you like? I mean, it didn't really matter, but it is officially gam.
Gam. There you go. I love it. Okay, so out of fun.
And here's two of them, if you can see.
Okay, so how old is the man that helped come up with this beautiful name?
That one is 5.
5.
And this one is now 18 months.
I love it. I don't know if I think it's going to be more fun with him being 5 or when he's 18 and you get to tell this story at his high school graduation. I'm just going to say.
Probably then.
Yeah. Or maybe the wedding ceremony. I mean,
it's just going to be I've got so many stories for that one. So, I mean,
Great. So love it. Okay. So the story, we got to know each other because we have a mutual friend who was a director in Mary Kay. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, you two should know each other. And voila, out of our starter kit, here we are. Yeah. So, but I really want people to hear because, you've worked Mary Kay in many different seasons of your life. Mm-hmm. So let's start at the beginning. What were you doing when Mary Kay found you? When the opportunity found you, what were you doing?
I was working in corporate America. I was a single mom.
Okay.
I had come out of a really nasty divorce situation and was working in corporate America. And I just needed more time with my children. Yep. And I wanted to be more present for them because of what we had been through. And my daughter was actually in high school. My son was in elementary because there's 6 years between them. And it's just how it fell with schooling. And, in my mind, I can't say that this age was more critical than the other. Every age is critical when you're a kid growing up and you need parents that are present. And so I was looking for something that would give me an unlimited earning potential because I didn't want to have to tell my children because of what had happened with me and their father that they couldn't be cheerleaders or baseball players or go to the mall with $20 in their pocket with their friends on Friday night because I couldn't afford it. I didn't want that. So I needed an unlimited earning potential, but I also wanted the flexibility. I wanted to be the classroom mom. I wanted to go on the field trips. I wanted to be the parent that was at home when the children got off the school bus. And I didn't care if the whole city of kids were at my house in the afternoon, evenings. I just didn't want my kids even next door behind closed doors. years, because I just wanted to be that parent that was aware and was there for my kids. So I did. So I was in corporate, and I did what I think every woman starts doing when she considers making a job change. I considered going back to school, and I'm like, well, shoot, that's going to cost me more money, which I don't have. And I'm trying to figure out how to get more money. I don't want to spend more money. And then the other one was that's going to take more time away from my children, and I'm trying to figure out how to get more time with them, not take more time away. So then I started praying about it and telling my girlfriends, next best thing we do. And so actually a girl that worked for me in my office, she was my media assistant, heard me talking to a friend one day, and she said, well, I hate to tell you this, but I'm actually about to resign because I do this Mary Kay thing, and I can make more money holding one party in one evening than I do sitting at this desk all week. And she really could. Now that I know what you make in Mary Kay at a party. And so she said, you really should come do this with me because I'm leaving and you should come with me. And I busted out laughing, like hysterically. I'm like, girl, that's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. Good luck to you. I don't want to see you go, but if you're going to go, good luck. I wish you the best. But no, I am not gonna sell lipstick for a living. I got to be able to pay my bills and be there for my children. So yeah, I was working in corporate America.
Okay, so I love that. So I hear a little bit, see if I'm hearing what you're saying, a little bit of the Mary Kay, not quite of the standard, nor did you believe the earning potential that you needed, nor something you could see yourself proudly tell your children about. Am I close to what I heard you say?
Oh, bing, 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 bing.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So let's unfold this little package a little bit more. So how did you get there? And then when you got there, what turned? Because something had to turn. So how did you actually get that somebody was telling you about the real opportunity, and what triggered in your head? Help us hear those two things too.
Okay. So, when I started laughing and going, not happening, the big reason I had never used skincare before in my life. I knew nothing about skincare. I mean, I washed my face in the shower with my shampoo when I got shower. I mean, that's what I did. That's all I knew. I had never been taught anything, never used anything. And God forbid that I would spend $100 washing my face with quality products. I mean, like, seriously, that was not a thing. I mean, like crazy. I mean, that was my mindset. And I was like, women don't really do that, do they? And then my mindset was, if I had $100 extra, I wouldn't spend it on my face. I would spend it on my children. I need to feed and clothe my children. So that concept was just beyond me, that whole skincare thing. And I didn't know anything about makeup either. So wasn't just skincare, makeup either. Like literally, I wore a foundation only because I worked in an office and the other ladies did. So I figured I probably should. But I didn't know anything about matching foundation, and my face was literally a different color than the rest of my body because I'm a Florida girl, and when you're a Florida girl, you're supposed to have a tan. But when you work in an office all day, every day, Monday through Friday, you don't ever get out in the sun to get a tan. So I literally had gone to Wally World and gone down the makeup aisle and picked out the color that I wanted to be. So my face, you can envision, I do have pictures, it's bad. So my face was literally a different color than the rest of my body. And I didn't know it was wrong. I sort of kind of knew it was wrong, but I didn't really care. And even if I had cared, I wouldn't have known how to fix it because I didn't know anything about makeup. So when she said I should do Mary Kay, I mean, that's why it was so comical for me and so totally abstract. God has a sense of humor. But with that, how did I finally end up getting here?
Okay. So did you go to a party? Did you just go to a website? Where was the connection? Somebody had to say something, or you had to read something.
This is such a God story.
Okay.
I mean, it really, really is. I had never been invited to be at a Mary Kay party. I had never asked anybody if I would be willing to try Mary Kay products. So when we think that the market is saturated, no, it's not. I just did a big party a couple nights ago, and there were 10 ladies in there, and every single one of them had never tried Mary Kay before, and they were ages from 20 to 60. None of them had ever tried Mary Kay, so our market is not saturated. So I had never had any of those experiences. So it was just weird because this girl that had worked for me, she left to pursue her Mary Kay career. And she put me on her PCP list. So consultants, when you mail out books to your customers, that is a really big deal. And if you're a customer on here, listening a little bit about the Mary Kay opportunity, to know that your consultant put you on a mailing list is a really big deal, that she loves you enough to spend money to mail a catalog with samples in it every single quarter to you, because it does cost her. But she put me on her mailing list, and I stayed there for 2 years. Every time I would get the catalog, so she never even offered me a facial. She just, said I should do this, and then she left. But she put me on that list. Every single quarter, I would get that catalog out of the mailbox. I would pull it out of the mailbox and go, why is she sending me this stupid book? I would go into the kitchen, open up the pantry, drop it in the mailbox, never broke the seal on it. I would drop it in the garbage can and shut the door. But God has such a sense of humor, because he was designing the steps. So then she went on Target for her car. And I ran into her one day in the mall. God, literally, we pulled up beside each other into a parking lot at the exact same time. We got out and she was like, Elizabeth. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? She's like, I just picked up my new Mary Kay car. And I'm like, good for you, girl. That's awesome. And I took off. And then I know. And then she's like, no, let me tell you about it. I'm like, girl, I'm in a hurry. I got to go. I'll talk to you later. I didn't want to hear about Mary Kay stuff, but I'm still in this horrible office at this horrible job that I hated and I wanted to get away from. I'm still there. And she's just earned a free company car. Like, hello. And then a couple months later, I was visiting a different church because my children's baseball team, they were special guests at this church. So we were at this church. Well, hello. I mean, it's a mega church, a couple thousand people. And I'm taking, one to the nursery, and lo and behold, thousands of people at this church. We cross paths in this church. And she's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, you look good. She's like, oh, it's my Mary Kay. It's just, and I'm like, whatever. And I kept on walking. But I know, y'all, I was a hard one. So consultants, if there's someone out there that you really want, don't give up. Keep praying, keep them on a mailing list, and go from there. But God just ordained it. And then it came to a situation where I was just desperate. I'd gotten to, I don't know if I've ever been at the place where sometimes you just get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I was there. I literally had gone to the powers that be in the corporate job, because I did all the financials. I kind of did everything from ordering the toilet paper to doing the payroll taxes. So I knew all the finances. And so I knew that they had enough money. I knew how much money they wasted. I knew that they could afford to give me a raise. So I went to the person that could make a decision about giving me a raise, and I asked for one. And he looked at me that day, and I'll never forget it like it was yesterday. He looked at me and he said, if you don't like your paycheck, you can leave. You are replaceable. And I was like, oh, okay. So I walked to my office, I closed the door, and I had a meltdown, like ugly, ugly cry meltdown. And I did that for about 15 minutes. Pity party. How dare he? I work with pneumonia. I've had strep. I never miss a day of work. I don't even take my vacations. I wallered and sobbed my eyeballs out for about 15 minutes. And then I got mad. Because I'm like, even when my children are sick, I went to work and someone else took care of my children, because I was such a committed employee. And so after my 15 minutes of blubbering and feeling sorry, something snapped and I got mad. I'm like, how dare he? I work with pneumonia. I miss my kids when they're sick and somebody else takes care of them. I have missed more ball games and home runs. And so then I just kind of got mad, and then I started praying. Should have done that first, probably. But then it got me there. God, why am I here? I just can't believe this is what you designed my life to look like. What's going to give? When are you going to show me something different? What am I supposed to do? And in that moment, and this sounds weird for people that don't understand, but in that moment, I heard a still small voice say to me, Mary Kay. And I literally stopped sobbing and looked up and looked around. And I'm like, huh? Like, this is real. And I heard the word again. Now, I've only heard an audible voice in my head like that from the Lord twice in my life, but that was one of the times I heard that. And so literally, I went over to the file cabinet found that girl's name and phone number, who was the former employee from 2 years prior. It took me 2 years to God work me through this process. 2 years, and called her up and I said, I don't know if you remember me. And she's like, oh yeah. And I said, I need to know about the Mary Kay opportunity. Can I really leave this job and make some money? And so I went over that night to her house. She told me the business side of what Mary Kay had to offer. And I'm like, okay, I need to sign up. And then I signed the piece of paper and I'm like, I've never even tried these products. You probably need to put something on my face, because if like some, my face blows up, or I can't do this. We got to tear that piece of paper thing up that I just did. So she gave me a facial, and I fell in love with how my skin felt. And that was the process. Crazy.
That was the process. Look at that. Yeah. Sometimes, the slow crock pot is a great way to get there. So we all know that. I'll love it. Okay. So you're in. Now let's be real. You were in. Was there ever a time that okay, God, you wanted me to start, but you really don't want me to stay? Was there quit idea? Was there times that you wanted to walk away?
How much time do we have?
Not that much, maybe. Okay. Okay, let's do the short and condensed version.
Yes, let me give you the first time and then the most recent time.
Perfect. That sounds like let's go with those two. Yeah.
Okay. The first time, so right after I started my business, I held 2 parties, sold $800 at both parties, was rocking it, going, okay, this is a real thing. And people do really wash their face with nice products because it does feel good. I can do this. And then right after that, short story, and I don't know if we should record this, but whatever, you can, whatever. An ex-husband filed for custody of my children. So I called with the girl that had signed me up and said, I cannot work Mary Kay. I've got a custody battle to fight. So started an 11-month process. And now I was right at my 1-year mark of being in Mary Kay. And I knew I had a 90% buyback guarantee from the company. Thank you, Mary Kay, for that security package of that buyback. So I called her up and I said, look, can't do Mary Kay. It's been a horrible, and so right before we were to go to court, he dropped everything, didn't want the kids anyway. It was a mind game and a financial, but it was also got part of God's process. And I know that, but I called her up, said, Mary Kay doesn't work. I need to send my products back because I'm not going to do this. And she said, you haven't worked it. If you'll just work it, I promise you it'll work. And if you don't do this, then what? What if you don't do Mary Kay? What else will you do to get you out of that job? Because I was still in that office. Because I had held 2 parties and then I quit to fight the battle. And so she said, give it 1 month. Do everything I tell you to do for 1 month and see what happens. And I said, okay, you got me for a month. And she said, we have an event this weekend. You're going. I said, no, I'm not. She said, you just told me you would do everything I said for a month and you're going. I'm like, dang it, you. So I'm a woman of my word when I make a commitment, So I went that weekend. I was exposed to what Mary Kay is really about, and some of the most powerful, amazing women like Mary Hildebrandt's in that weekend event. And it changed my world forever. I came home from that weekend. A week later, I was on track to be a sales director. I was on track to be a car driver. 6 weeks later, I earned a Mary Kay car. 2 months later, I was a sales director. 6 months later, I was in the 2nd level car. To God be the glory. But that was a season where I wanted to quit. The most recent season, y'all, these last 2 years with COVID, oh my word, I am a Gen X and this virtual stuff has not been my friend. I didn't like it. I love people. I want connection. I want to be up close and personal, toe to toe, belly button to belly button. I know I want to hug people. So this virtual world was a challenge for me, just technology in general. And so these last 2 years, I've had more conversations with my husband of, I'm just going to go sell real estate, rather than do that. But oh my word, like in the last 6 months, I have completely pivoted because the Lord wouldn't let me leave. He brought me here and he wouldn't let me leave. And so I have just totally wrapped my arms and embraced this virtual world. And wow, God is just chasing me down with blessings. And, Mary's one of the girlfriends that God blessed me with in this season because of this virtual that I would not have had if I had quit and walked away. So yeah, there's been many times over the years. I'm just glad that I'm pretty loyal. So when I get committed to something and I know it's good, I don't just throw in the towel.
Yes, I love that. And yes, thank God for virtual, because other than that, we probably would not have been talking. So I love that as well. And Great way to get recordings. Okay. So I love it that this is a place that has given you 50% profit so that you could be home. What else? Okay. And we know the girlfriends. Okay. We got that. What else? What else has Mary Kay, the company, or Mary Kay, the experience? What else has it given to Elizabeth?
Oh, wow. Again, it's like we don't have all night. The self-growth, the self-esteem. I came into Mary Kay out of a very bad place, mentally, emotionally, even physically, I wasn't healthy. And so being in the presence and just in the arena with such women that truly care about you. They don't just say it, they really care about you. They love you, they pray for you, they lift you up, they encourage you. The self-growth, the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than I ever, even dreamed and imagined. Thank you, Ephesians 3:20 and 21, and God for bringing me here. The self-growth, the empowerment to be better, but also to dream again. As little girls, we dream, but then we start growing up and people laugh at us or tell us we're crazy and that you can't ever, that will never happen, or you don't need to do this. And Mary Kay taught me how to dream again. They taught me how to set goals, which I really had never done in life, but Mary Kay taught me how to set goals and to achieve. But even more so in this season is the ability to pass it on. There are so many people that are hurting. There are so many women that are looking for something more, and even more so in these last 2 years than ever. The numbers are in the millions of women that have been forced out of a workplace because of COVID and shutdowns and financial situations, and the ability to encourage and empower and teach and train other women that they can have the same thing that it's given so many of us. And, whether it's a side hustle, big, medium, or small, Mary Kay fits every person. They just need to figure out, how they want it put into their life.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So just to kind of, so that people that don't know your story, how long have you actually been in Mary Kay?
18 years.
18 years now. Okay. And so you earned a car 5 months in?
Well, the first year I didn't do anything. So once I committed, 6 weeks.
Okay, 6 weeks. Okay, so a little over first year that you did that. So how many cars then have you been driving, and I know there's different levels, and most people know there's different levels. So you earned one, then you were on target for your second one. So how many cars?
So 13 cars. Last
13.
4 have been pink Cadillacs.
We love that little trophy on wheels, don't we? Love
And
it.
we do.
Love it.
We do. And it still blows my mind today because the car I had when I started Mary Kay had 289,000 miles on it.
Okay, say that again.
The car that I had when I started Mary Kay had 289,000 miles on it.
And now every 2 years you qualify for
You get a brand new one.
brand new car.
And it's a $55,000 car. We get to drive for free, and I pay $30 a month for insurance.
Love that. And so, okay, so is there other prizes that Mary Kay has given you besides the beautiful trophy on wheels?
Oh my word. Oh my word. Trips around the world, diamond rings, just all kinds of little fun things, fun little pieces of jewelry. But oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. And for those of you that don't know, those beautiful those brown plaques that are in her back, that is saying what her and her unit have done to actually that have sold product. And so that's part of her little wall of achievement that I always love seeing in her backdrop, to help be a part of it. So what if we're gonna narrow this down? What is a favorite Mary Kay memory? What is something that is what's a memory that Mary Kay, either I'll leave it that open. I'll let you target that one all by yourself.
Okay. Wow. Oh, of course, picking up the first car, the first car. If you've ever bought a car, you go in and it's so painful. It's so painful. But the very first car, there's a big party, there's balloons, all your girlfriends are there with cupcakes and cake and stuff. And you literally sign one piece of paper in 2 places and they hand you car keys and then you drive away. It's like, seriously? I cried the whole way home. So obviously picking up free cars, and that never gets old. Another one was the year that they offered that thing in New York City, where if your unit did a certain thing, you could be on the baseboard of the Times Square. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know anything about New York City. I'm a little small country, little town girl. And my husband was at the event when they announced that. And he looked at me, he said, your face will be on the screen in Times Square. And I'm like, why is that a big deal? He said, you just trust me. Your face will be on that. Whatever you got to do that. And he literally took me to Times Square that Christmas just to show me what it was, knowing, and told me, he stood there and said, that's where your face will be next year when I bring you back here so you can see your face up there. So, I mean, that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. But on a personal note, I'll never forget, we don't realize the impact that something like this has on our children. When they watch how we live and the lifestyle, they don't understand. We don't understand, and I've got so many stories when they were younger, but, as an adult, one that just really got me was my son, who was like a little bitty elementary kid when I started, like 8 years oldish. Or 6 or 7, he was young. So anyway, when he went off to college, of course, I was driving the Cadillac, and I'll never forget the first time I drove up on the campus. He was in the house, and I drove up in the campus, and, women love the pink Cadillac. It's pink and it's beautiful and whatever, but it's funny when you see how men look at the pink Cadillac, and it doesn't matter what age men it is. When men look at that pink car, it's a wow factor. And I'll never forget when I drove on that campus the first time and pulled up to the house, all these college guys were just standing around, and they were pointing and looking, and it was like they were like gathering. They were like coming out of the houses, and everybody was looking. I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. And then, I called my son. I said, I'm here, but this is something weird going on, and he comes running out of the house and grabs me and gives me a big old hug. He wasn't embarrassed, because his mama was there. He was proud of his mom. And oh my word, I mean, all the guys around were going, oh my word, Micah, that's your mom in that pink car. That is so cool, dude. Like, take us for a ride, and I'm like, oh my word. Oh my word, and he was just beaming. He was so proud. So yeah, that's, the personal ones that have your family attached to it are the most special. Yeah.
And I love how that story just weaves back through. The reason you started was for family, and then family can be proud and family can be a part of it. I love that. Love that. Okay. So give us, since we are sharing the opportunity and you do it so extremely well, can you tie it up with a little bow? Like, what does it take nowadays to start a Mary Kay business? How about if I let you just give your little bow on top of it? What's it take? If someone wants to say, hey, well, if Elizabeth can do it or Mary can do it, why don't I get to try it? Tell us.
Oh my word. And I got to say, if I can do it, anybody can do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, rewind some of the things that really got my attention that day when we were talking about, because I came from corporate America. I wasn't the girl with the glamour magazine. I didn't know all that stuff. So I didn't start because of that. I started because of the business. So for me, it was an earning potential that I could control, because I had just been told that I wasn't worth much with that corporation. They put a price tag on what they felt I was worth, and I knew I was worth more because I knew my work ethic. So the unlimited earning potential got my attention. The no quotas, knowing that we had no restrictions, and and if there were seasons where I needed to put it on the shelf because of whatever, I could, and I wouldn't be penalized or hurt. No territories. Knowing that I had friends and family all over the country and I could service them and didn't have limitations, that was a big deal to me. The 90% buyback. I mean, that's the one that got me to sign on the dotted line, knowing that I had a year to try this and see if I liked it. Because it wasn't about whether or not I can do it. We invite women to try the product. If they like it, they'll buy it. If they don't like it, they don't need to, because, they just don't. But reality is our brand is top 5 globally. And when women try it, they fall in love and they want to buy it. But knowing that I could try it for a year to figure out if I could make this work and the way I needed it to, and have that security package of the buyback, that got me as a businesswoman. The free car program. Oh my word. Like, seriously, 13 company cars in my years in this company crazy. The tax advantages, oh my word, I was a single mom. I was struggling, so to have some tax brackets, your cell phone, your internet service, y'all are probably using right now to watch this. I did get remarried 16 years ago. My husband and I built a home, and I have 1,000 square feet in this house that I use for my Mary Kay business. I can write off a portion of the mortgage, the power bill, the water bill, the gas bill, the toilet paper. Because when girls come over for facials, they go to the potty. Laundry detergent, because we wash the washcloths that they use to wash their face, but yet my family towels go in that same load. So the tax advantages are crazy. So those are some of the business things that got me here. I'll tell you probably the two biggest things that almost kept me from it, besides my low self-esteem. Number one was I felt like I didn't know anybody, and God showed me that I knew more people than I realized, and I was out and about and exposed. I went to the ball games and saw my kids play. I had kids that had friends that had moms. I mean, we go to the mall, we see people. We go to the bank, we see women. We go to the grocery store, we see women. So that was an excuse that I didn't know anybody, because we know people. And then the other one was time. I was so busy. Like I literally, my schedule, I got up at 4:30 every day, got the kids where they had to go. I was at the office by 8. I got off at 5. I went straight to the school or a ballpark. We would get home at 8 o'clock at night. I would come in, cook the supper, clean the kitchen, check the homework, throw the kids in bed, fall out at midnight, start over at 4:30. And I was like, I hardly bathe. When do I have time to do Mary Kay? But what I figured out was that when women want something bad enough, they'll figure out a way to make it happen. And I wanted out of that office bad enough to figure it out. So I started meeting women in fast food restaurants on my lunch hour and doing makeovers in bathrooms. I went to the ball games and sat on the bleachers, and I looked for women that had their makeup like Mary's, that were slamming gorgeous, and said, I'm doing this Mary Kay thing and I don't have a clue. Could you please take my products and put them on your face and make them look like what you did does, and teach me how to do this? And I would go home with hundreds of dollars in my pocket, because as they would try the products, they would fall in love and they would purchase. So those were the two, so wrap it up in a bow. It's 30 or 130. Those are your two startup costs. You can pay $30 and get a website with a credit card app. So basically, when women want to pay with their plastic, you're able to take it and process the order. So for $30, you have your own website where women can shop with you 24/7, just like going to Walmart.com, and the credit card app. For $130, you get the website and the credit card app and a beautiful bag, a custom bag designed that has over $500 worth of products and supplies in it for $130. Like the company literally takes a loss to help women get started, because they so believe in what they have to offer. And they know, you probably want to wash your face with this stuff and get comfortable with it before you're letting other women. So buy the 130 bag, and y'all, it's a trip to Walmart or Target, like seriously. And sometimes I hear women go, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to, and no offense, I'm a Christian woman. My Jesus is my life, but I'm going to have to pray about it. That's $130. How many times have we stopped and prayed at Walmart before we spend $130 on stuff that we get home and we don't even know what we have in the bags? Like seriously, it is not a life-threatening decision. It's a $130 trip to Walmart. So it's not a life-threatening decision, but it actually absolutely could be life-changing. So, and I would say as we wrap it up, when most people hear about the Mary Kay opportunity, they fall into one of three categories, either A, B, or C. It's A, absolutely, oh my gosh, there is something that you have said that has me excited and I want to do this. I'm scared. I don't know if I've got it in me, but if you promise me you will hold my hand and teach me and train me everything that you know, I will give it a try. Unless I try, and we tell our kids all the time, you need to try it, hello, but we don't do that with our own selves. But I would say, absolutely, give it a try, give yourself a year and see what happens. So you're an A, I'm in. B, wow, this sounds pretty cool, but I'm just not quite sure. I have a couple more questions that I want to ask. Buy me a cup of coffee or, something, so I can ask you a couple more questions before I make that decision to jump in real quick. So you're a B. And C would be, woman, you crazy? No, thank you. I don't want any part of an unlimited earning potential or free cars or the most amazing girlfriends on the planet. I just want to be a good customer. I love my Mary Kay girl. I will buy from her, and you have to promise you won't go back to Ulta, the drugstore, you won't go anywhere else. You will support your Mary Kay girlfriend and be her customer for life and get the most amazing service that you're not going to get anywhere else anyway. So I'd say just text your girlfriend. Are you an A? Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I'm scared, but I'll try. B, buy me a cup of coffee. I want to ask some more questions. Or C, no, thank you, but I will be a loyal customer. I will support my girl as she works her business to change her life. So there you go.
Yay. Well, Elizabeth, thank you. Thank you for sharing the reality. Being a businesswoman, being out there and being told that you're only worth what the job pays and that you are replaceable. There are many people that end up feeling that. And so thank you. Thank you for being a woman that wants to be there for her family and, make a way, find a way, and love that. But also being real that there are some times that being a business owner is not as easy as it's like it's not all sugar and spice, kind of like being a parent or being anything else. It's not always easy, and working your way through that as well. Love that. Love the stories of just setting goals, and that this is a place that taught you how to set goals, taught you how to dream. And then of course, just, why not? You've got a chance to do it. You have the chance to have it bought back if it's not for you, but it's a reason, a season, a lifetime. And I'd have to say, it's also that, hey, it's a $30 decision, or at most it's a $130 decision. I guarantee I rarely go to even a fast food restaurant and don't drop more than $30. I'm just going to say that out there. And it's like, okay, fast food restaurants do not change my life. You and I both are walking testaments that this business can. So, thank you.
And so many people tend to say, what if I can't do this? What if my friends don't buy? What if no one supports me? What if, I would say flip that and go, what if they do? What if it does?
Right.
What if, where could your life be a year from now? What could be different a year from now if you turn that negative what if to a positive what if and just gave yourself a chance?
Amen. And thank you for adding the sprinkles on our What If Wednesdays, our what ifs, because that is what if it does. And so thank you for being part of our What If family. And thank you for sharing your heart. And you, of course, always are the bomb.com. So as she said, have questions, reach out to your consultant.